Hello everybody, how are you boys and girls? How are you feeling these days? I hope that you're staying safe at home and that you're feeling well, that you're not so bored, okay? Um, I miss you very, very much and I can't wait to see you again soon, okay? I've prepared this video so that we can discuss Romeo and Juliet a little bit, yes? So, are you ready? So in this video we are going to be discussing Romeo and Juliet, the story that we are reading, and we're going to discuss the first three parts. Okay, so I need you to read the first three parts before you watch this video, okay, so that you are able to understand everything. This is how we are going to work. You are going to see that I have written several questions, yes, related to the part that we are dealing with. I'm going to ask you to stop the video so that you have time to read the questions and you have time to answer them, either in your head, yes, or you can say them out loud. You can tell them to your mom or dad, whatever you decide to do. Once you have done that, once you have used your book, yes, to look for the answers, to look for evidence in the text, you can press play again, and I'm going to try to explain each of these questions so that there are no doubts left. Of course, I'm here for you to ask me questions, for you to ask me everything or anything you don't understand, and I'm here to help you, okay? So remember, look at the questions, stop the video so that you have time to answer, and then press play to hear me explain everything, okay? Let's start. Here you have pictures, yes, of the characters in this story. You can make a character map to help you in your binder, okay? We have two main characters that we know they are the most important characters. They are in the title of our story, and those are Romeo and Juliet. They belong to different families, the Montagues and the Capulets, who hate each other, okay? That we know. Then we have Benvolio, who is Romeo's cousin, and we have Mercutio, who is Romeo's friend. Yes, on the other side we have Tybalt, who is one of the Capulets, one of the most dangerous characters in this story. I think you know why. We can also read about Friar Lawrence and the nurse, and the Prince of Verona, yes, who are secondary characters, but their actions really affect what happens to the main characters. And you also have Paris, yes, who is a very important person in Verona. Verona is the setting of our story, okay? Remember that. We know this from the very beginning of the story. Now, I know you know the answer, yes, to this question. We know from the very beginning of the story that these two families hate each other. We can read it in the text, and we can see it when they fight each other in the streets of Verona. It's very important that you are able to find evidence, yes, to support the fact that these two families hated each other. We can see that as soon as the lords arrive, yes, Lord Capulet and Lord Montague, they do not want to stop the fight. Yes, they start fighting themselves. And as soon as the prince arrives, he feels really angry. He feels frustrated because these families have been fighting for a long time in the streets of Verona. So he asked them to stop doing this. He says that if the two families fight again, Lord Capulet and Lord Montague would die. Yes, there is something that he says to the lords, and is this quote that you have in the video that says, Lord Capulet and Lord Montague, you are old, but you are not wise. Yes, so think about this quote and think what it means. Okay, you can think about what we usually say about old people, what they are like, yes, and compare these to the way these two lords are acting. Okay, they are behaving, so that we can talk about this in our next meeting. Now, as soon as this scene is over, we see Lord Montague talking to Benvolio because he's really worried about Romeo. He hasn't seen him, he's been at home a lot, he looks sad, yes, and Benvolio promises to find out. So Benvolio asks Romeo why he's so sad, what happens to him, and Romeo explains that he's in love, or he's out of love, because he loves Rosalind, who doesn't love him back. Yes, so he says this quote that says, "Love is a terrible thing, Benvolio. I love and I hate. Love comes from nothing. It is heavy and light, serious and foolish, hot and cold, sick and healthy." So I don't think he feels happy because he's in love, as one usually does. So what do you think this quote means? Why is he saying these things about love? These things that are very, they are opposite, okay? Hot, cold, sick, healthy. So think, read the book. Why do you think that Romeo feels this way? Think about how you would feel if you love someone who doesn't love you back, okay? Before we finish with part 1, we read that Lord Capulet wants to have a party. And he wants to have a party because he wants his daughter Juliet to marry Paris, okay? Paris is an important person, so he wishes his daughter to be married to him. So he wants to arrange this marriage, and he thinks that throwing a party would help this. We can see that Juliet doesn't want to get married because she's too young. She says that she's 13, yes, and at the end of the scene, we get to know that Romeo finds out about this party because of some servants, and he wants to go because he knows that Rosalind would be there. So these two final questions about Juliet being 13 years old, really young, and living this that you know she's living, what do you think about that? Try to explain this fact, taking into account the time when this play was written by Shakespeare. And think, and then you can share with us, how you would feel if your parents try to tell you who you should marry, yes? And what would you do if that happened?